Is tech officially dead? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the DevOps Roundup. In today's episode, is this the beginning of the end? Is tech officially dead? Let's talk about it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Well, that is one hell of a hook, Alex. And this came to mind because our friends over at Atlassian let a lot of people go just 10%. The other day. In fact, wasn't it yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago, 10%.
2 days ago. 2 days ago, 1,600 people all at once. Although they got a very what would you call it? Generous
compensation, severance, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like what, 12 weeks or something like that.
Helps to sting a little bit, right? But
it gives you a 3-month, ramp to get something else.
Yeah, but the problem is there's just no jobs out there, which is why my hook I don't think is much of a hook as much as a statement of fact.
Well, it's definitely more doom and gloom than I'm feeling right now. Although I can say my emotions are definitely on a yo-yo right now.
But you've been through this in 30 years of business. You've been through the 2008 bubble.
Yeah, go back further. So when I first started,
I was born in '89, so I'm not aware of anything before that.
So when I first started in the industry, I was I finished the military in '91 and then wrapped up college in '92 just to enter the workforce during a recession. And back then, it really hit the aerospace vertical really hard. But it, pretty much the early Bush, I guess that would be the mid Bush senior term, was pretty doom and gloom for the tech industry. And it wasn't until like around 93, 94 that things started really picking back up again. So I don't think we're necessarily in a recession yet. I think we're headed there.
But we've been heading there for 3 years now.
I would say a year and a half.
People have been saying, though, that this economy is really bad. And I've always told Lena, and not to kind of promote a little bit our Disney podcast, but I told Lena, the moment I start seeing downtown Disney lines go down at restaurants, that's when I know we're in trouble.
Oh, well, yeah, I have no problem cross-referencing our other podcasts. But I did see some crazy Disneyland news yesterday about the what do you call it? The
swatting.
The swatting. Yes, yeah. I couldn't think of what it was called there. The swatting.
And we have a target on our backs here in California. I haven't heard of what the alarm for a hide because there's an imminent bomb or nuclear threat coming your way sounds like.
I don't know.
California has apparently been targeted as one of the main areas that are an area of interest for the regime. So we'll see if this recording cuts out. You know what happened, folks.
Yeah, Alex will go to static, and we're like, "What happened to Alex?"
We're having brief technical difficulties. We'll be back after a message from our sponsor.
Yeah, but I wanted to chat about this briefly, not taking an entire episode about this, but the layoffs are terrible for Atlassian, and it's a real shame that they didn't focus more on not re-educating. That sounds like a terrible term to bring up, but job training people to do the jobs that they're expecting instead of going out and trying to find new people. It just seems it'd be cost prohibitive to just let this many people go to then just have to hire some of them back.
That has always kind of blown my mind a little bit because there's statistics out there. I don't think we have them ready, right? But the cost to hire somebody new isn't cheap either.
No, it's going to be higher than retraining somebody.
And I don't even think you need to retrain people. Like, how much of it is just on the job training? Just give them the new role that you want them to lead you in.
Yeah, and just let them know, hey, this is the new direction, and
go forth and prosper. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the perspective that I wanted to bring in here is, this is a chart going back roughly 2 years, and you
And
can
this chart
see,
needs to go further back.
yeah, I don't know if I have the ability to force
Yeah,
this.
but the layoff. So just to kind of paint you the timeline, Shawn, I got a job at Google in July of 2022.
Okay.
The week that I accepted the job at Google, Google implemented a hiring freeze in 2022.
Oh, this one here goes back a little further.
There you go. See, we're getting into the right. So look at this. Q2, this would have been the end of Q3 is the blue lines here, right? And so
This one here.
yeah, that's the right one there. So I got the job at Google in July of 2022, which would have been that Q3 one right there.
Yeah.
But immediately after, within 6-7 weeks, 6-7.
Oh no! Don't do that.
This one's for Shawn. I mean for Josh. So, anyways, a few weeks after the freeze came the layoffs, and it started with Google. Google did massive layoffs, which I was so thankful for that I didn't take that job at Google because I would have been like the first one to go. But two, that's also right around the time where Elon went into Twitter and basically fired everybody down to like 100 engineers. And it started as catalyst, right? So everything really truly started right around the mid 2022 timeframe.
Oh, we're back over here. Oh, okay, I was on 2023.
Yeah. So as you can see, we're faring better, but the alarming part is that the trend hasn't stopped.
No, it definitely slowed down. Now, I would say that this chart needs to go back further. I don't think we have that option. But
we weren't. But we were pretty stable going into 2020. That Q2 2020 is everybody who laid people off because they couldn't like afford to have people because there was a lot of jobs that require you to be in the office. So like Disneyland furloughed and then let go of so many people because they just couldn't keep them on payroll.
Yeah.
Right. But in tech, it was a little bit different, right? But still, there was a spike in 2020 because uncertainties of the market.
Yeah. The actual COVID years, 20, 21, 22, my business saw a surge in contracts, which a lot of that was companies just wanted to get stuff done and they were investing in projects, and that's why they would bring in a service consulting company like mine, but also our customers realize that not everything has to be done on site, and that spawned a lot of our businesses. Like we can just hire a release team and we don't need to fly them anywhere.
No. Oh, the good old golden days.
Slowly eroding, but holding mostly true still. But going back to where we are in 2026. It looks like it might be picking back up a little bit, but it's holding steady. It's not necessarily, it doesn't. We need more data, but it doesn't seem like it's strongly getting worse. I do know a lot of people that have been let go in the last last 6 months that have found jobs. They are out there. Not everybody. I do know a couple people that have been out of work for over a year.
I know 1 or 2 people that have been looking for work for about a year. And I think right now, like this new wave, I feel like the 2022, 2023, ChatGPT dropped November of 22. So this immediate spike wasn't like, and we all know version 1 of ChatGPT was not where it's at today.
No.
So that spike was, from what I remember, a correction due to the dip that you see end of 2020 through 2022.
Yeah.
It's basically too many companies overhired.
Yeah.
It also started coinciding with the fact that return to office started happening in that Q3 2023 era. Right?
Yeah.
But this new, I suspect that we're going to have a new spike where now it's AI driven.
Yeah. So throwing AI back into the mix, do we see this, accelerating layoffs or holding steady for the next year or two and then accelerating layoffs? So I think the end concern here is that the more AI improves and gets adopted by large corporations, the more layoffs there will be. But
I think it's going to continue to be a trend because people see the shiny object that is AI and think, OMG, it can do so much. I think what a lot of people
trend up or down though.
in layoffs, I think more companies
So
I think more companies are going to try to go under the mask of one AI agent can do the job of 10 employees, so we don't really need 9 or something.
I think a lot of a lot of companies will do that. I think they're mostly the short-sighted companies, but most companies are short-sighted. They only care about the profit for this quarter. They're not necessarily looking at how strong a company can we be in 20 years.
And this is exactly what we saw with that last one, right? As soon as they announced layoffs, it's not, I mean, this audience probably doesn't keep up with Atlassian stock, but this is something we've been monitoring for the last few weeks. Atlassian stock is down like what, 60%?
Didn't it go up this week?
Well, yes, it went up this week, and they announced something major this week too.
Yeah,
layoffs. And so what a lot of companies are doing is the market is positively rewarding them for laying people off, which doesn't make any sense to me. But also that's why I don't work for Wall Street.
Yeah, I definitely think there should be a disconnect between what Wall Street likes and how companies are run.
But you can't, because then they get activist investors that jump into your board and force you to do what Southwest. Like how do you run the brand 101?
Too is Southwest is look at what's going on with them, and I'm dreading my next Southwest flight coming up, and I think in a week or so.
It's really not that bad after the thing, but if you're a credit card member, you're fine. If you're not a credit card member, bless your soul, because you're in for a whooping.
So we both took Southwest flights, 3 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
And we both had connections on our flights. So really, I took 4 flights with Southwest. You did too. I had no problem. But I do subscribe to Southwest's Reddit feed, and all sorts of people are having problems.
I think as long as you have the credit card, you're fine. If you don't have the credit card, then you're going to be in some trouble.
Yeah, I haven't been on. So the one part of the flight that I dread going on is the flight that's half full, and Southwest stewardess are not allowing you to spread out in the plane.
Move.
They're insisting that you stay in your seat, and I don't want to be that on that flight where we're 3 people deep in the row, and I turn my head and there's 5 empty rows, complete empty rows right behind me. And the some reason the stewardess, they're saying, no, you have to sit in your seat. And they're giving terrible excuses for it. Although not DevOps related at all, but just a Shawn rant.
Yeah. I will tell you that my observation is don't ask, they don't tell.
Well, according to some of the stories on Reddit, then you have to give them a grain of salt on that. These people are moving without asking and then getting berated and basically being driven back to their assigned seat.
I think if you're moving around in your area and not moving up to the extra leg room ones, I think they're a lot more lenient. Is where if you're trying to go from a cheaper seat to an upgraded seat, that's where they tend to be mad.
Yeah.
But I've seen people,
and rightfully so, but yeah,
I've seen people stretch out and go like a row in front just so they have the whole row to themselves, and they didn't really say anything. The other thing is that the stewardess don't really pass by after the snack, so
how are they even watching? Yeah, especially if you wait until after you're up at altitude to switch your seats. If you're switching right after the door closes, I can see them complaining and being mean about it, but yeah, my strategy for this next flight is I specifically picked a seat in the middle of the plane, hoping that everyone picks up front or up back is where, the people that don't pick the seat, they get shoved in the back. So apparently the middle of the plane seems to be empty.
Are you a credit card holder?
I am.
Yeah. So with the credit card holder, you can just go in and move your seat around.
Yeah.
So I've been going in. So all the flights that I did, I would go in multiple times a day, and people are shifting their seats around. And I kept playing a game of musical chairs until I kept finding a seat where I wouldn't have a partner next to me.
Yeah, that's my prime concern. Is I just want to have that middle seat empty.
Yeah. Well, just keep playing, keep logging in up until the moment you physically check in at the airport. Then you're done. But
I'll give that a try. I hadn't thought of that because I've never.
You can just upgrade. You can move your seat around all day long, like even as you're waiting to go to the airport.
Must be annoying to the people at Southwest, but
that's what that's how we got on this topic, right? That's what happens when you let activist investors come and take over your tech company.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's a theory: should I pick a middle seat in the middle of the plane? And then maybe have two seats empty?
No, you won't have that.
You don't think that will work?
No.
That's being too greedy.
Yeah. All right. So tech companies, I think I wanted to bring it back to relevancy. My wife showed me this phenomenal TikTok yesterday about this one senior engineer who basically was working as a software engineer at this company, but he was moonlighting for 3 companies in total.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I happen to know someone like that, but I won't mention their name.
Won't say any name. So he's moonlighting, which ever since 2020, moonlighting has become a lot more, as long as you finish your work, right? It became
as long as you perform what you're supposed to be doing, who cares what you're doing with the extra hours?
Right. So anyway, so this gentleman got caught, he got laid off, and then the company was like, starting all their services just started shutting down because the guy strategically, because this is a very interesting case and one that I made with Atlassian, right? AI is fed off of your company's knowledge, right? And so this homie, he called them like Shawn's variable, Alex's variable. So your AI models are being they're having to figure out conspicuity and ambiguity that is built in as a defense mechanism by the engineers. You're not going to get a very good result out.
So are we saying that this guy didn't do anything malicious? He just happened to name things a certain way that an AI tool came behind and said, "Oh, we need to remove all this because."
No, they just came behind and couldn't come up with a solution.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then the other software engineers that stuck around, it was everything was in the guy's head that they laid off.
So yeah, right? Most of his variables were puns or sci-fi references and things like that, and the AI couldn't figure it out.
And his comments were something that he would know, or the architecture was something that he set up. So they're over here, and the systems are going down. Money's stopped coming in because the website's not working. They end up hiring the guy, doubled his salary, and brought him in as the contractor, so he was working part-time. So they encouraged him to work in Moonlight. Just so that the company was like, turns out they're willing to pay whatever they want as long as the services work. And the joke about this, I think, is going to apply here with AI. Even if you take away the sabotage part, I think a lot of companies right now are going to fire, lay off, realize what a grave mistake this was, and then people are going to be a lot more expensive coming back in.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. It's basically the engineer with the stick of chalk at a high scale. And I've told you that story before, right? The engineer with the stick of chalk. So thought I did it, but anyway, this engineer was retired, and something broke in the factory, and they could not fix it. They brought in a whole bunch of consultants and everything. Nobody could fix it. So they reached back out to this guy, and the guy said, "Sure, I'll do it for a ridiculous amount of money, like $100,000 or something like that. I'll come in and fix it." And they're like, "Yeah, we're losing more than that every hour the plant's down." So they bring him in. He walks the plant floor, picks up a piece of chalk, puts a big X on a part, and says, "Replace that part." And then he left and sent an invoice. And they said, "There's no way we're going to pay this invoice. You were only on site for like 20 minutes." And we need an itemized invoice. And so he itemized the invoice that one piece of chalk, $1, my expertise, $999,000, and they paid it. But yeah, we're going to see things like that actually come true, whether or not that's a true story or not. It's going to be at a much larger scale as engineers have to go back in and rescue these companies that let people go, on a short-sighted basis.
Yeah. But I think it's going to happen, and what I'm starting to see the trend is there's going to be extreme fatigue. I see that AI agents make life easier, but you're managing more in your brain from a cognitive perspective, right? Because you're orchestrating and conducting more, you're sending signals out more to things that are doing work for you. And I see more people basically getting tired of not being able to keep up with all the noise that's going to be happening.
Yeah, I agree. I've already got a little bit of burnout on, as a company owner and CEO, I get bombarded with AI offerings on marketing and sales and managing social media. Even for this podcast, there's so many AI tools that are trying to get my time to manage this on YouTube for us, or to manage us across social media. And I just reading their marketing makes me tired, and I want to go take a nap. So I already have burnout for a lot of these AI tools, but I feel I still have about 10 years before I can just retire and ignore AI. But then at that point, can we ignore AI in our retirement, or is it going to be in every aspect of our life? Whether we
I think we're gonna get progressively tired of it, and we're gonna value face-to-face interaction so much more. Like right now, when you try to submit a ticket to Atlassian, you can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you have to go through multiple levels of AI before you finally get to a person, if you ever do.
If you're lucky enough to get there. So I think as a society, we're just going to long for human interaction and mistakes. I think mistakes are going to be so valuable.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be everything's going to be so perfect.
Yeah. Well, that brings up, can AI learn from its mistake? Because that's how we learn, is from
our anti-gravity does, but we have to tell it.
Yeah, I don't know if it learns from the mistakes, because I tell it makes a mistake and it turns around and makes the same mistake again and again. If it was learning from it, it would stop doing that. In fact, I find that with ChatGPT in creating images. And I may have mentioned this before. I have been using ChatGPT to create the thumbnails for this channel. And it creates some good thumbnails, but they don't follow the standards of YouTube. They're either too large or they're not the right dimensions. And so each time I ask ChatGPT to create one, I cut and paste the dimensions that I want and the file size, and that I would prefer it to be a JPEG, and it ignores it. And then I swear at it, and then I'm like, hey, you got that wrong. And so it regenerates it wrong again. I'm like, are you purposely doing this wrong so I burn more credits? So I don't know if that's built into these models, is we need to milk the user for as many credits as possible, because that's how we make money. And so it's purposely playing the genie that gives you the 3 wishes, but they go out of their way to make your wishes bad, because you're not as specific as you can be. And then there's never a level of being specific that works for the genie. No matter what you specify, he'll do something wrong. I feel that's basically the way I see most of these AI tools right now.
I agree 100%. But I don't know, folks. I think it's going to be very rocky for the next. I still go off 2 more years of this before we start to see anything positive.
Yeah.
So. I am very scared, though. That's all I can tell you. And I think just knowing how to leverage the power of AI is going to be very beneficial. And I think more managers are going to be looking for people that can just fix problems, no matter how they want to fix the problem. Whether they're using AI or not using AI, or reading a book or not reading a book, or having 100 agents do things for them. I think it's going to be an interesting. What I also think is going to happen is, Shawn, have you used anti-gravity to have it do things for you?
No, not yet.
So
I was trying to do that with Claw or whatever.
OpenClaw?
OpenClaw. But I ended up uninstalling OpenClaw because there's too many people complaining that this thing here is malicious and and a security threat.
So we were using anti-gravity a couple of weeks ago on one of the other shows that I do. And I told him, remember a long time ago, like a month and a half ago, you and I, we were doing an anti-gravity app that went and put Jira tickets in there.
Oh, yeah. I have anti-gravity doing that for me.
Yeah. But that is when we give it an API token and let it log in as us.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scenario where you don't give it an API token.
Okay.
And therefore, it opens up a browser, asks you to sign in. And once you sign in, it will go and click the buttons and create the Jira tickets for you. But what's interesting is your computer becomes idle at that point because you're just kind of like watching the cursor move around the screen as it's going in and typing, and it goes to each field and it adds the tags. It hits create.
Worse than OpenClaw.
I don't know. I just think it's like Josh and I were making the joke. I was like, I can't do work right now because my agent's taking over my computer because you can't move the mouse. It's moving your mouse for you. So all you can do is do nothing but watch. So I think it's going to create an interesting society where we're just going to watch our computers move. We just tell it what to do. So anyways, folks, subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.